Welcome, people, to the PM Hour. Y'all been rocking with us. Y'all know what we do here. And we appreciate it. We love it. And we have another episode, so we're going to get right into it. And my name is Patrick.
I'm Terry.
Oh, yes, and I'm Garrett. Oh, it's all about the melanin, y'all.
Yeah. And, well, you know what? This week, our sister's not here. Yeah, Tasha's not here. But, you know, we're going to try to just power on without her. And actually, I have this story. Now, I know some of you guys probably heard about this professor, this NYU professor, and she was actually given a lecture at Yale. And she was given a lecture amongst, well, her audience was other psychiatrists, mm-hmm. right? And she was given a very particular type of lecture. And something that came out of it, basically, we're going to talk about her point, but the thing that came out of her lecture was a part of it where she said, you know, if she, well, I don't want to misquote her, but she said something about if she had a gun, she would shoot any white person that stood in her way, bury the body, and clean her hands and walk away with no guilt.
And she's saying that's how she felt.
Actually, that's how she felt, yes.
Yeah.
And actually feel like she's done the world a favor.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was pretty powerful. And that's the thing that everybody's taking and running with, you know. But actually, so that's been said. But what we really want to talk about is this other doctor, right? Mm-hmm. Dr. Carol Swain. Mm-hmm. Swain. Sorry, Carol Swain.
Swine.
That's basically saying what this doctor is saying. And now, mind you, there's a bigger point that Dr. Aruna was trying to make. Yeah. But you know how the media works. They took a small portion out of her point and ran with it. And now this is what everybody is focused on. And nobody's focusing on her actual point. Yeah. So I just want to play for you guys, right, a little bit about what they're saying as counteract to what Dr. Aruna is saying. Yeah. Right?
Here to react, former professor, Dr. Carol Swain. Professor, this is not an isolated incident. This is on college campuses everywhere, right?
Yes, there is a dangerous double standard that allows racial and ethnic minorities to engage in hate speech without any consequence.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear that, you know, and it's like, if you really look at what is going on as far as the counter argument to what the NYC Yale professor said, you would, you know, think that, okay, well, she's wrong because they're going after her, you know, personally, and why she would do this, they're going after her profession also. If you listen to the whole interview with Dr. Swain, you know,
yo, y'all funny out here, man. Y'all don't even do that. Y'all out here.
But
tripping, man.
For the whole thing, you know, you would feel like, okay, they're coming from a relevant place. But if you look at it deeper, you will see that they're actually not making no counter argument to what the woman said, because she's actually a forensics psychologist. That means she doesn't go off a theory, you know, and everything. She goes off actual facts and things she can bring
in
to
science.
Improve in
right.
science.
And psychoanalyst,
something more tangible
Yeah.
than the usual, you know. So counter her on that point, and the fact that you won't do that says something about you and how you think. So, but the deeper point, though, beyond all this, are white people psychopaths? I fully agree. Think about this. Think about this.
This dude.
Think about it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask y'all. Listen to this.
My brother.
When you hear something, you watch the news, right? And then you just hear a mass murder just happened. Oh, somebody just slaughtered and shot down 20,000 people, or you're somebody just fucked a goat. Wait,
crazy.
No. Okay. Which is the first race that comes to your head?
Automatic.
Florida.
She said we're red in Florida.
Yeah,
my
God.
But that's a state. Yeah. She said yes. No,
white people automatically come to your head, right?
Florida.
White people automatically come to your head, right? Because they
True.
do this crazy shit. So right there, if you can admit it and say yes to that, then we already know on some level we see them as psychopaths. We know, we kind of gauge the kind of thinking of their people in their mind. I think that was kind of like me putting it basically at what this professor, the point she was making.
Yeah.
And challenge her on that. Why did she come to this conclusion?
Right.
You know, what is she saying? Are psychopaths really? Even though you might disagree with me in far as, you know, saying she being, saying that or making a statement about white people being actual psychopaths, you know, but I'm inclined to believe that from my own experiences as a person of color. I don't like to say that. As a black man, person of color, whatever.
African.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, as an African, you know, and dealing with white people, how we've been dealing historically and even currently, I'm inclined to believe that they are psychopaths. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not exactly. Well, I'm
Go ahead. No, it's all you.
But
It's
it's not biased because you emphasized earlier that she is a forensic psychologist, and I believe part of forensics is science. So you're collecting a lot of data.
Right.
For
And psychoanalyst, you have to put that. She's two things. You got to make sure you put that. She's both.
I'm speaking more towards like the facts.
Yes.
I know sometimes that could, you know, you have to collect a lot of data as
that's
far
the
as when it
analyst
comes
part.
to like forensics, right? Yeah, and
to
you
make a
analyze the
determination.
data, but before you analyze the data, you have to collect it.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
And so that's what I'm saying. She didn't get this out of nowhere. This wasn't just she sat in some corner and was like, I observed this and I think that's what it is. No, she had a lot of data and she analyzed that. And I believe part of what she also said was, this is not, you know, rocket science. We have the history to prove that they are psychopaths. And when I say they, she specifically said white people.
Yes.
So people of the Caucasian descent.
Yes. That whole diaspora.
The whole diaspora.
The whole Caucasian diaspora.
And you can basically be a 2-year-old or maybe a little bit older, 4-year-old and know a basic history and realize that they're psychopath, right? And you're living in this fantasy land that they created for themselves. Anybody else go around and slaughter like a whole race of people and take over their land and tell lies about it.
Yeah, well, you discovered it after you then went there, like you said.
Say you discovered it, right?
Yes.
Tell lies about the people. Enslave also a whole race of other people. Basically, the way they've carried themselves through history somehow, and this is what kind of resonate with me, you know, with her argument was how we are also complicit in this because the thing is we are complicit in their fantasy. And so, they're psychopaths because, separate from just our existence right now and the world we're living in and how, you know, history is white and this type of what, you know, her argument. Separate that. If you're just looking just like at a regular story of this, you know, single white male or single male, right? That's in their 30s, mid 30s, you know, capture somebody and then have them, you know, a young person, obviously, and then have their mind a certain kind of way. And now they're living in this world and, you know, this person is escaped, but they still believe this, you know, like Stockholm's or whatever. You could imagine that with that isolated incident, right? But you broaden that and you see that's the existence of the rest of the world. And not, I mean, I know that's a little bit hyperbolic. That's so dramatic. But that is the experience of like how white people have colonized the world and how now we're living in their fantasy and how she can come to that conclusion of their psychopath. Not only that, but I'm sorry to just keep going.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
We're able to live in their world where they can police the world, right? It's not just them policing in the United States where they can kill whoever and have immunity towards that. I forget what the name they call that with the cops, but you can have basically immunity, you know, for going around and doing. But you also have that in the world. You can go implicit, or no, that's not what.
No, that's not implicit.
Well, anyways,
no.
But you can not only do that in your country, but you can also do that throughout the world. You can go in other countries, start wars, right? Funnel guns, or outright sell weapons,
but even so,
and do
even
all
so,
that and police the
but even
world.
so deeper
and
what you're talking
you
about,
get no consequences from
what
that.
this professor brought up, you know, even so deeper, they can police the lies that they've set up on the world.
That
They
is
can
the
police that
lies.
too. Yeah,
Right,
You know
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
But also even historic, you know what I'm saying, and
The
stuff like
fact that you,
Yeah.
the biggest lie is the fact that you get to be, you think that you get to be out there policing with your history.
Sometimes feel like, okay, am I being too harsh? We're including the white people who seem innocent. We're
Right.
including them in this whole argument. For
Your
giving
friend,
a
your white
sweeping
friend
indictment.
that you work with.
White,
Yeah.
they were giving a sweeping
They seem
indictment of
cool.
how they are. So if we're saying a psychopath, I have to include them too, because what they do and who they are as a people, I would also have to agree that is embedded in you, despite you have done nothing. That's embedded in you, and it's there.
It's one of those things that you say you cannot be oblivious to the obvious. It's one of those things that they show you exactly who they are, but in that denial. Same thing that we're saying, right? But the fact that they're walking in that denial solely. So here we go. So one thing that I felt like what Dr. Swain was saying, for y'all out there, y'all here trying to shoot out this woman, calling her, y'all know,
Swain.
right? Swine, whatever. So here we go. The one thing that she mentioned when she was talking about what the doctor was saying, right? She said that universities and I guess society have allowed minorities to engage in hateful speech. Engage in hateful speech, and then kind of feel like no repercussion, right? Which is crazy, because a white person could come out, call you a nigga right to your face. You know what I'm saying? Call you a porch monkey, all this kind of stuff, right? Talk about so many different discretion. Not even just that, they'll talk about other races, have so many different discretions against you, right? But what do the white person always say, right? It's their freedom of speech. And that kind of carries into not just here in America, because we always stand on that with this, like a First Amendment, they want to push that, but that happens in a lot of other countries. As soon as it comes to a melanated African person, African descent from the diaspora, once we say anything against that, or just have like a fantasy, so-called dream or intuition, whatever they call, then yet we're seen as aggressive. We're seen that it's like we're dangerous. We're inciting like riots or inciting hateful thoughts. Now that's kind of crazy, right? For how a white person can say whatever they want, and you don't get, you kind of have that freedom in saying that, but we can ignite hateful speech for other races to be hateful, right? And it seems like the black person get the charge. This lady, I don't even really think she black. Not to even put in her race, right? We're talking about Khilanani, the doctor originally that made the comment, right?
Aruna, Khilanani.
Yeah, Aruna Khilanani. I don't necessarily think that she is black, right? I think she's like Indian.
She's speaking more from like a person of color.
Okay, well then,
But her racial makeup, looking at her, physically,
she's a person of color.
But you see how so funny? The way that she talks, you still, like you said, y'all get like this black vibe, or you get like, it's like, you get like somehow a black person could still be connected to what she's saying.
Yeah.
So in essential, if it's like that, you still get this way where it's like a black person could still lead the charge in hate speech, which is crazy, because we're not essentially would be the one to start it off in certain sense, right? But it will still get blamed on us. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just kind of crazy, and just the dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Not to just out her and talk about her like that, because again, essentially it's like, oh, what are you talking about, ass, right? We do agree with what she's saying, right? She still come from like a certain point as a black person, but just don't get it twisted. It's not to say that all black people is out here thinking about just killing white people, but it is something embedded in us. And she only went to the colonial period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you want to go. I just say this one thing. I feel like too with her, or what happened in this situation, is one of the things with the media, where it's like, a lot of what you just said, it is sensationalized, right? So they, is two things going on. They know if something like that part of her speech was promoted, or, if it got out, then it would cause this whole like distraction, from what she's actually saying.
They're trying to take away.
She's really trying to talk about race,
right?
But because that is too hard for America to talk. I feel like it's too hard for, I guess, white people to talk about, because it's not just in America. They make it seem like it's just like an American thing. But even other countries that's talked about race, when you dig deeper, you find out that's like, you really didn't. People like to blow up South Africa. You got rid of apartheid, but why the land is still owned by
a small percentage of the country.
Back, and why
they still have that land
poverty
back.
rate. So okay.
It's crazy.
So it's like you're talking about it, but when do you get past talking?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more. I feel like the media pick a thing because they're like, oh, let's dangle this and distract them with this and get the whites to get in uproar, because it's like, look what they really think about you. I know you like this because they should be thinking that about you, and you know what I'm saying. They get you in an uproar, but really it's because they don't want to get into the actual conversation of it, the deeper conversation of what this means and how to even fix the problem.
And I'm just gonna go this way. I want to put a blanket over this whole thing as far as, speaking from a pan-Africanist point of view, which I consider myself. Because even in this Dr. Aruna Khilanani, the fact she come up and presented it was that she's trying to convince white people or the white people of the world and their fallacies with that, right? But then you also have the Dr. Swain and their points in rebuttal. It seemed like they're trying to defend white people in a certain way, saying that no, they're not like that, and they're refuting it. But the blanket
or at the very least, they're saying, hey, even if you feel that way, it's violent. Don't say that.
But the blanket over blanket over it is me. I'm not trying to convince white people of nothing. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm not trying to teach them about their racism.
Yeah.
I think that's where we fall as a black people.
100.
Yeah.
We're wasting time trying to convince these people of something, not trying to be convinced of.
100.
She said that.
How much more longer are we going to take? But even her action, she is kind of trying to teach them about
She
their
said
way.
exactly that.
100.
But you're saying
I'm
even though
saying-
she say that, her action is
Yeah,
still
her action.
teaching them.
You went to this
okay.
Yale. You're still trying to come up with a study and bring it to them and convince them. Because look, they control academia. They control all the things and stuff. They have the finances and resources to come and they'll do this. And they have the media outlet to either pick up or rebuke her. Yeah. So they're still there altogether. But what I'm saying from the initial part, we don't have to teach these people nothing. We're wasting literally time trying to convince these people of something they're not. How long are we going to waste trying to convince them of that? Why? And I want to say it again. Waste of time trying to convince these people. We have to convince them of nothing.
Absolutely.
I would rather focus on black people becoming dominant. And what we need to do, what is the psychology of us and why we still haven't figured out this problem that we face?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. I think that's a better use of our time as a race. Do you feel where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
No, of course, man. I mean, we have to be about the diaspora. We got to be about the diaspora.
And time, literal time. To come to this point. So, that would be more beneficial to utilize our time in the right way. And it comes down to that. I think that's what the inferior part, at least it is for me. The inferior part, that I have to even consider this. Because as far as a pan-Africanist, it seems like a mute point. All of this, mute point, where we could be focused on something much more better.
No, I mean, it's absolutely agree. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I do think it's definitely pointless. You know what I'm saying? So we could just go ahead and ride with that. But it's not a much amount what we could say, right? We just making conversations. What y'all think, right? Please comment, y'all, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what y'all think, how y'all feel out there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, here it goes right there for y'all something. Give us like a question out there. Do y'all think it's pointless to educate white people about blackness? So y'all let us know, man. Comment on that. Let us know what time it is, man.
Progress.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, what was that? Say that again. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Just progress.
What was that?
They benefit from progress too.
Oh, okay. Well then, hey, man, y'all let us know what y'all think. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Just keep it 100, man. PM hour, man. Y'all know what it is.